Hey, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. Drop some fire in the chat. Let me know where you guys are coming in from. I need to see some fire in the chat. If you are excited to be in the room, I want to talk to a few developers today. I want to know how many people is here to learn. If that is you, go ahead and drop some fire in the chat. I am super excited to be able to teach this. This is the first of a new course curriculum that I've been working on and that I wrote myself. And I'm just super excited to be able to share this with you guys because a lot of times we make things bigger than what they are inside of our heads, right? And so knowing that we make things bigger than what they are, it's honestly a privilege to be before you guys today to be able to share information that comes natural for me but may not come natural for everyone else. And so I'm excited to be able to teach you guys today how to develop a mobile home park. And look, you can apply this principle to any play in real estate development in regards to rentals. I would just and rentals and developments, but I would just say, today is going to be a fun day. You guys are going to learn a lot. How many of you got your pen and paper? Say I. If you have your pen and paper, say I. Derek, when do my presentation pop up? Whenever you guys have your pen and paper, just put ready in the chat. Let me know you guys are ready. All right, y'all come here. Y'all didn't come to play. Okay. I love this. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Terica Lynn Smith. I am a real estate developer and real estate coach. My button is not working. I need it to work. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Perfect. For those of y'all who don't know me, again, my name is Terica Lynn Smith. I am a real estate developer. I've been doing real estate for 21 years now. I have been blessed abundantly in real estate. And I recently started teaching real estate to the public, probably about maybe 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8, if I'm being honest. And one of the things that I found out was that everybody don't know what I know. Right. And I used to think that. I used to think that everybody knew how to write a real estate contract and everybody knew how to write formulas and everybody understood, you know, um, real estate investing, but I was wrong. And because of that, David Shands was like, hey, you need to get on the internet and start teaching this because you really do this in real life. And there's a lot of people who claim to do real estate, but they don't really do it at the level that you're doing it. And so I've had the privilege to be able to graduate hundreds of students through real estate, through our real estate course. And I've had the privilege of teaching thousands of students from around the world how to be able to get started with investing. So first and foremost, I'm a woman of God. I am a kingdom millionaire. I am not self-made. Everything I have, everything that I own, it belongs to the Lord. I am just a vessel that's standing here before you guys and just being one who transfer information. I am a wife, a mother. I have 4 amazing children. I was once titled one of the youngest real estate developers in the state of Louisiana of a mixed use community. I have owned over 1,000+ doors and have handled almost $1 billion in real estate transactions over the 21 years. So this is not an overnight success, right? I'm not here to tell you how to get rich overnight, but I am here to tell you with the right coach, with the right guidance, you can be a kingdom made millionaire as well. I've had the privilege of being able to place my children's name on street signs. I've been invited to the White House for the work that I've done, which was an amazing experience. How can someone who was homeless up under a bridge with their child as a teenage mom go to the White House? Well, by the grace of God, I was there. I felt so uncomfortable. How many of you have been in a room and you like, God, this is uncomfortable? Like, why do you have me here? Well, that was me. I was sitting in a room. I looked at like, I felt like a white chocolate dipped Oreo, if that makes sense, right? I was surrounded by my light bulbs, my white counterparts, and I was the Oreo that was inside the room and I felt like I was covered. But it really grew me, and it placed me in a place of appreciation because I remember that I used to pray for times to be like they are. Now, I never prayed to go to the White House. I would be lying if I said that. But when I was sitting there, when I got the invite to the White House, and when I was sitting there, I was like, this is so unreal. Like, this is so unreal. Like, real estate really changed my entire life. And so I get the privilege of sharing this with you guys and being able to give you guys what has allowed me to become Terica Lynn Smith and find out who I was. Next is this, okay? Today, what you're gonna learn is you're gonna learn how to develop a mobile home park. If that's why you here, put yes in the chat. How investors find and evaluate land. So I know a lot of you got questions on how we do that. Also, how utilities and pads are planned. Like a lot of the times you see these mobile home parks, but you don't even know how they're planned. How many of you like a mobile home park? This is something new for you, right? Let me tell you something. These little single wides are cash cows. Somebody put cash cows in the chat right now. These freaking mobile homes are cash cows. I'm about to show you guys how to go get a bag, okay? But I'm not going to just show you how to get a bag. I'm going to show you how to get the blueprint to go get the bag. Right now, you probably really good at getting a bag, but you don't know how to use the blueprint. So if I give you the blueprint today and I give you the bag, I think you agreed that it was worth your time coming to this learning lab. I'm also going to show you how development numbers really work and why mobile home parks are often overlooked, right? So many people turn their noses up at mobile homes. Most people think of trailer trash. I've heard that a lot. Your mobile home park is what you make it, okay? There's some mobile home parks just for the dirt pad. To rent the dirt pad is $600 to $800 a month. So again, it's going to be what you make it, okay? Me personally, I don't look at it as trailer trash. I do have people that go in and trash trailers. I'm not going to lie. But they get put out of the park. They get put out of the community. And so you are the developer. You get to say what takes place in your community and what can't take place. How many of you just put in the chat right now? I'm the boss. I'm the developer. Let's just go ahead and start prophesying that right now. I'm the developer. I'm the boss. If I want the streets to go this way, I'm going to design it this way. If I want this caliber of tenants where skirting all got to be matched, all mailboxes got to look the same, all landscaping got to look the same, I'm the boss. I'm the developer. I get to decide who comes back there and what this community looks like. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you're abiding by fair housing, right? Because as a large real estate developer, you do have laws that you have to abide by. And one of those rules is making sure that you comply with the fair housing law. So today, let's talk through the steps of the development, right? So first thing you're going to do is you're going to place your land up under contract. So you're going to have to find some land, right? How many of you pass by raw land? Just put me in the chat, right? Me. Every time you pass by raw land, I want you to think of something. Who name can I put on this plot? Like if you're going to put streets there, like whatever it is, who name can I put on this plot? What name can I name this community after? And what do I have to do to buy it? You see, they're not making any more land. I need you to know that. The second thing I need you to know is that billionaires are buying up the land. So if they're not making it anymore and people with deep pockets is buying hundreds and hundreds of acres at a time, then I would say it's safe to say that you probably need to own some real estate. Somebody say today. You need to cooperate, right? So put today in the chat, right? So the first thing you're going to do is get some land up under contract. Once you get some land up under contract, you're going to get it surveyed. Once the survey is completed, the engineer creates the site plan. The site plan is where the trailer will actually fit on the particular lot. And we're going to break this down even more, but I'm giving you kind of like all the steps in the beginning. So screenshot this so you guys can have it. But these are literally the steps that we go in, right? So once the engineer create the site plan, then what happens is the plans are stamped by a licensed engineer. Those are your final plans. Those are your plans where you can go and get your certificate to start working, okay? So once you get your license, once you get your stamped by the licensed engineer, you're going to submit those plans to the city. Normally your engineer submits them for you, because they're gonna have questions about drainage and sewage and, all, like, just so many different things about the land that only an engineer can answer. As a developer, you don't have to know everything. You just got to make sure you hire the people that know everything, right? So for me, when I started developing, guys, I did not know everything, but I did know that I needed a few more people that were smarter than me to be able to help me develop what I wanted to develop. So once you submit your plans to your parish or your city, right? Then it goes through the planning commission review. The planning commission review is where they look at all of the plans that the engineer has stamped. They look at the type of use that you're going to use. They're going to make sure that it meets within the zoning laws, and then they're going to, if there's any revisions, they're going to send it back to the engineer and say, hey, we need you to change this. The water can't flow this way. Like, you can't put a trailer on this part of the land. That's where they do all of the approval process at. So once they finish that, you get what's your final approval. So once you get your final approval, now you're able to pull your permits. And once you're able to pull your permits, then you now able to break ground. So the timeline to be able to do this from start to finish is anywhere from 90 to 120 days. It can even take longer depending on the actual piece of land that you acquire, right? And I'm gonna talk about the best type of land to be able to do mobile home parks on. It's typically flat land, right? So you wanna make sure that whenever you're looking at acquiring real estate and you're looking at acquiring this vacant land, one, you want to make sure that it is zoned. So you get what's called your due diligence period, okay? And during your due diligence period, that is when you go to the city and say, hey, can I place mobile homes here? They're going to say yes or no. And if they say yes, get it in writing, because that person may quit that day and you start moving mobile homes and a new person come in and they tell you, oh, you are outside the city limits or you are inside the city limits and you cannot place mobile homes here. But the person who worked here told me I could. So if you have it in writing, if you have it where you're able to prove that this person said that this is allowed, now legally they can let it happen, or you can go after them to make it happen, especially if you start spending money. So anytime you go to the permitting office, planning and zoning, get everything you possibly can in writing. You want to make sure that you get all of that stuff in writing, because I have witnessed myself being told one thing and having to fight. I mean, tooth and nail to fight to be able to get my projects pushed through just because one person quit. So it's extremely important. Everything has to be in writing. Everything has to be in writing, okay? If this is good, put good in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this, I'm giving you guys meat today, okay? I want you guys to leave here full to be like, wow, I can do this. If this is good, put good in the chat. All right. So the next thing is, what kind of land works for mobile home parks? Such a great question, right? So the best type of land is going to be, number one, the land that's already zoned for MH, okay? MH is for mobile homes. Now, they may have a different classification in your area, but all you have to do is say, what is the zoning for manufactured mobile homes? And they'll tell you what that code is. So in a lot of states, though, it's MH, okay? So once you get the property zoned and or rezoned, you can rezone a property. So let's say a property is rural and is zoned industrial, okay, and or commercial use, but you would like to put a mobile home park on it. You can go through the rezoning process. The engineer would have to do that for you, but you can go through the rezoning process and they can switch the zoning from commercial and or industrial to mobile homes, manufactured homes, right? So you can do that. I would tell you, though, you will spend a lot of money trying to get it rezoned in an area that it has a lot of industrial around. They're not going to want to park a mobile home park there. If there's a business that got a lot of commercial around, they're not going to want a mobile home park there. So you'll have some fighting that you would have to do. Yes, it can be won, and yes, it can be lost. So you just got to determine if you want that. I typically like to find property that's already zoned for mobile home use, so that way we don't have to go before the planning commission to, now we got to start this. That's just another step added. And at 3 to 6 month timeline, it can increase depending on how often your city or your parish have their meetings. If they don't have their meetings until every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks, you're 2 months in waiting for them to be able to review your rezoning request. So that right there takes a ton of time, right? The next thing is rural or secondary markets. Like, land for mobile home parks work really, really good in rural areas. How many of you live in a rural area? Put me in the chat right now. Some of you live in a rural area and it's like this area would be perfect for a mobile home park. Put that in the chat right now. I want to know who you are, right? Put me. The next thing, if you're looking at land, right, you want to make sure that it's around jobs, highways, workforce, housing demand, right? So, for instance, how many of you remember Hurricane Katrina? I remember it because I was there when it happened and I had to get out of the city, right? Hurricane Katrina displaced hundreds of thousands of residents, tenants, owners, whatever you want to call back in the day. I mean, so much so that FEMA, the federal government, started buying up mobile home parks. And they manufactured these FEMA trailers. We call them FEMA trailers. They manufactured these FEMA trailers and they was putting them inside of the lots. Now, there was some owners who really made a ton of money during Hurricane Katrina because they already owned mobile home parks and they had what we call infill, right? They had lots that were already inside of the mobile home park that wasn't being used. So FEMA could go in and pop a trailer there and it was paying you 12 months at a time in rent for the people. So you was getting a full check at one single time for having an empty lot in your community, right? So that's always really, really good. Making sure that that demand was there, right? So there was not enough housing to support the amount of people from Hurricane Katrina that was displaced. So the fact that FEMA went in and started buying up mobile home parks and also partnering with park owners, imagine having your own park and imagine getting a check for imagine getting a check for 1 year. You don't have to worry about no late payments. You don't got to. It was a sweet market, and I was so poor during Hurricane Katrina, but I was able to calculate. I was walking. They had placed my mother-in-law in a mobile home park here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and it was off of a road called Mills Road, right? And I remember walking through the mobile home park, and one day, this was before I took my real estate license. This is how I know that God always intended for me to do real estate. I was doing it without even knowing it. So one day I was walking to the mailbox because she wanted me to go check something. So I was walking to the mailbox and something just said, count, count. How many of you ever climbed up a staircase and you just count the steps, right? It was kind of like that feeling like, oh, I just want to count. I want to see how many back here. Y'all, by the time I got to 80, I looked around. I was still walking. I ain't even turned the corner yet. So she had at least 100 mobile homes inside of this park. Now, I don't know if you can do the math, but if lot rent is roughly about $400 and FEMA is placing the trailers on your property and now they become yours because FEMA abandoned all of the trailers that they put out there on those lots, you get a free trailer and you get the rent paid for a year, lot rent paid for a year. I'm just saying it was a sweet, sweet, sweet market for those who were prepared. Somebody put prepare in the chat. Hurricane Katrina taught me that I should be prepared in life. A lot of the times we have to react when we should be proactive, right? I'd rather be proactive than reactive. Hurricane Katrina for me was reactive. After Hurricane Katrina, I became proactive. If anything was to happen to me or my family, we'll be able to get up out of here. We'll be able to fly. We'll be able to go to the next place. I refuse to stay in the exact same situation and be trapped in a city where there's no resources, there's no water, there's no food. My children in diapers for 2 to 3 days at a time. I was so poor, it was disgusting. I never want to have that feeling again. Up until that point, I relied on the government for everything. Thank you for the first of the month check. Thank you for my food stamps. Thank you for my Medicaid. Thank you, thank you, thank you, right? So I've learned through Hurricane Katrina, which was a great teacher for me, I don't ever want to be reactive again, because reactive people allow things to happen to them. Proactive people is going to avoid those things from happening to them. So if I learned anything in life from Hurricane Katrina, it was I'll never be stuck in a city again. And whatever I have to do to be able to get me and my family up out of a city, but whenever a hurricane is coming, I'm going to make sure that I do it. And I believe because of that mindset, y'all, that mindset is everything. If you don't got the right mindset, you're going to leave this live today and you're going to be stuck still. The worst place you can be is in the exact same place next year. I get so sick and tired of hearing people saying my 2026 goals, right? It's going to be a new me. No, you haven't gotten rid of the old you. You're still the same. And you're going to have the same results because you quit on yourself right after the first quarter. You get tired and burnt out, and then you just start going with the flow. You just become reactive at this point. But in 2026, I want to challenge you guys to be proactive. I want to challenge you guys to challenge yourself. If you find yourself too comfortable, ask what can you do to create a challenge? Because I believe personally that you always have to be challenging yourself. And I'm in a room with a lot of high net worth individuals, and all they talk about is challenges. Now, people and society would have you think challenges are bad, but when you're in a room with some 9 and 10 figure earners, they sitting up there accepting the challenge as if it's the greatest mission of their life. Okay. There's a guy named Brady, who I've recently become, I would say friends, right? This dude, for the life of me, I don't understand why he did it, but he was very proactive. He ran 248 miles. He said, I needed that challenge. Like, I needed to show my body that it can do more than what it was doing on a daily basis. I don't feel like I need to do that to my body, because why? Right? Other than what he said, right? So what I loved about it though was he said, even in the middle of adversity, while I was running the 248 miles, the back of his leg, something went out, a muscle or joint or something like that. He had no choice. He could not quit because he was too far in. So he continued to run the race. He continued to run the race with a leg that was lagging and with a leg that was holding him back. But he refused to give up in the middle of the race. And because he did not quit, he's able to say it with his chest out that he was able to run 248 miles, a whole marathon. And he did it with another radical group of individuals who believe that they can push their body to the limits. And because of his proactiveness, right? Now he's headed to the next race. These races are changing their lives, right? So I would say hang around people that challenge you. Get in rooms that challenge you. Get in rooms that make you feel like you the littlest person in the room. You want to be the smallest fish in the room, because if you the biggest fish in the room, you taking up all the oxygen. It's time to allow somebody else to breathe inside of you. So also flat land saves on development costs. If you go get like some land, let's just say I don't know, Arizona, for instance, right? Y'all got a lot of rockiness up there. It's going to cost a ton of money to grade that property. So my advice for you is to make sure that when you're looking at buying a mobile home park, that the land that you get is flat land, and it's easy to be graded. And you can get with a dirt guy to say, hey, what does this cost look like? So you can see if that's something that you would be interested in. Okay, so this is a good question, right? Where do investors find land? See, I'm giving you guys all the goodies right now. Like, I'm starting from the root of it, okay? So existing parks with infill, right, where there's opportunity for us to bring trailers in and add value. Raw land near utilities. Utilities are important because you don't want to go to the middle of a campground and start a mobile home park and you have no utilities, right? Utilities are extremely expensive. So try to find a place where your city or parish have utilities, and make sure that that land is not that far off, because it is extremely expensive to connect utilities to a rural piece of land that have no utilities. Because you're the first one there, They're going to make you pay for it. It's just the way development goes, right? Small towns with housing shortages, right? I absolutely love Louisiana. I love Alabama. I love Mississippi. I love Florida. All of these states are mobile home friendly, even Georgia. All of these states are mobile home friendly, and they have a ton of opportunity available. All you have to do is just look for it, right? We also find it through workforce, our housing corridors, realtors, wholesalers, inheritance, people that just inherited a park from their loved one, the sheriff's sale where people didn't pay the taxes on the property. And so now you're able to pick it up at a tax lien sale or a tax deed sale. The tax assessor office, they give you information. If you call and ask them, if you find a park and you want to know who the owner is, they can give you information on it. And then, of course, the sweet old Facebook. Facebook is undefeated. Facebook is undefeated. Let me tell you why Facebook is undefeated. Because Facebook, they are posting every single day trailers for sale, trailers for free. Like you can literally, all you have to do is say, hey, I'll move the trailer and I'll take it wherever it needs to go. Because they're saying, hey, you can have this trailer, it's for free, but I just need you to move it, right? So it's really, really good to look at social media daily. So take that scroll finger you got, start scrolling for some properties, okay? Start scrolling for dollars. You be scrolling, minding everybody else's business, everything that's going on with everybody else but a door, okay? I don't believe that you should be spending time minding nobody else's business if you don't have your family plan together, if you don't have your legacy, your estate, whatever you want to call it. If you don't have those things together, you have a lot of work to do. What are we even doing? Like, what are we even doing? I told myself that I wasn't like going to talk about this because obviously like I'm still going through it. But I am very obedient to God, and I believe that it's just going to help me to continue to get through it. But I'll share with you guys. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do this live. This time last Monday, I was in a hospital bed. I was headed back to my house from the airport, and my car ended up like I was wide awake. Okay. And I was driving a normal speed. I have all of this on my phone, Life 360, right? And out of nowhere, I felt like that a dark force, if I'm being honest, just picked up my car and threw it. And my car started flipping 3 to 4 times. I don't know if it was 3 or 4, but what I do remember was closing my eyes and saying, God, if you're ready for me, I am ready to come meet you. But if you're not ready for me, I'm asking you to protect me. I had zero control in that moment. And all I remember was being in and out of it. But when I came through, my car was talking to the police department. My car was telling the police department my exact location, and they were even able to describe the impact, like meaning they was able to determine all of the airbags in my car went off. And as I'm still coming through and I hear my car talking to the police, thank God for OnStar. While I'm listening to my car and I'm in and out, I say, hey Siri, call Al. Hey Siri, call Atea. So guys, God gave me the tools. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my phone doing it now. No, 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 no. It's sort of calling my daughter now. Siri is on it, baby. Okay. But what I would say is this. In the middle of that, God provided the tools for me to be able to reach out for help when I could not physically do it myself. This was an extremely bad car accident, y'all. Can you imagine your car flipping 2 to 3 times or 3 to 4 times, whatever that number is, and your car, when you open your eyes, it is standing up on all four wheels in the middle of a field. It crossed a ditch and ended up in the middle of a field. Do you understand how far a car have to go to end up in the middle of a field? Why do I share this story? Number one, God is not done with me yet. Number two, there's an assignment that I still need to go ahead and complete. But number three, I was willing to close my eyes and go and be with the Lord, knowing that all of anything with my family was taken care of. They wouldn't have to fight over an inheritance. They wouldn't have to figure out what Terica would have wanted. It's very clear. It's written out. It's easy to understand. My trust already has a trust advisor. So the trust advisor is my business partner. So he would have been advising. It is very detailed on my legacy, on how I want it fulfilled and how it has to play out. I was not worried about my family having finances, resources, or anything like that. I knew that I have been a good and faithful servant with what God has given me and what God has shown me. So I'm telling you guys here today that it is extremely important for you to put yourself in a position where your family don't have to figure out what to do next. That's what I would tell you. And by the grace of God, I'm able to sit here and I'm able to talk to you. But what I would tell you is that when I felt that dark force throw my car, like it was by force, like it was like the enemy was like, get out of here. And it was a battle between good and evil, is what I felt. And can I tell you, good one? I was admitted to the hospital as a level 2 trauma. The doctor said when they call in level 2 trauma, first of all, you're going to be in the hospital for a little while. The second part is they said, are you going to be dead? Like they prepared for the worst of the worst. But other than the scar I have on my hand, right? Other than my, a few body aches, obviously my body is in shock. So whiplash or whatever, God protected me in all aspects. When I looked at my car and I seen all the airbags bust open, for me, that was surrounded by protection. So no matter if I went left or right or wherever, the way my car looked at, I should have had way more injuries than what I walked out of with. But how many of you say, but God? Somebody put but God in the chat right now. But God, not only was I a miracle when he told me that, he said, Terica, if you can hear me, I need you to know there's no broken bones. Terica, if you can hear me, can you hear me? And I'm like, yes, I can hear. He said, you are a miracle. Look, let me just explain something to y'all. When you need a miracle, you go to the miracle worker. When you need strength, you go to the strength provider. When you need a way, you go to the way maker. Now, based according to how you believe is how God is going to respond. But because I'm completely sold out and I've shared my life story with me being kingdom made and not self-made, and everything that I have is for God. It's not for Terica Lynn Smith. And because of that, I've been able to set my family up for generations at a time, not just financially. I've shown my children how to have a successful marriage. I have won at every aspect in life. I have hit the jackpot of friendships. God has blessed me with the most amazing friends in life. And I stand here before you saying that you can be in the exact same position if you just surrender. If you stop fighting right now, and if you say, God, I'm walking with you from this moment forward, I guarantee you that your obedience is going to open doors that never been open for you before. I promise you that. So back to the mobile homes, but I felt like that was for somebody. So I pray whoever that was for, you received it, right? So one of the things we do is with the mobile homeland, there's a quick little evaluation checklist that I created for you guys, which is the zoning or rezoning, water and sewage access, and utilities, flat land, and major road access, right? So having all of that is extremely important when looking at acquiring these mobile homes, this land for mobile homes. I stay away from flood zones if I'm getting financing. If I'm not getting financing, I don't care if it's in a flood zone. But if I'm getting financing because the bank make you have all of these other requirements and they're super strict with them, I typically don't buy it if I have to get it financed with the bank, because I don't want to go through their guidelines. They're regulated by the federal government and they make you pay for all of this overpriced insurance that's not even worth it. So no, thank you. And then, of course, environmental restrictions, and that's what you can get with the city for. And obviously, you can do soil testing. There's so many ways you can do the environmental testing to make sure that the land that you're acquiring is sufficient to be able to put a mobile home park on. Don't ever buy a piece of land without getting it surveyed and without getting an environmental study. Don't ever buy a piece of land without getting it surveyed and without getting an environmental study. Don't ever buy a piece of land without getting it surveyed and also without the environmental study. Don't ever do it. It's just a bad mixture. You sign yourself up for a recipe for disaster, okay? So making sure that there's water and sewage access. You're probably like, well, how can I do that? That's where your engineer come from. And I'm gonna talk about the people that you need on your team. But your engineer is gonna make sure that you're able to access water, because when they submit the plans, they're gonna have where the sewage is gonna go. They're gonna have where the water is gonna come from. They're gonna have where the utilities are gonna come from. They're gonna have all of these things for you. So making sure that you have the resources and the tools to be able to access that is extremely important. Somebody put checklist. Somebody put checklist. So let's talk about how utilities and pads are planned, right? Because that's the next phase, right? You found a great piece of land and you went through the process. Everything is good. Now it's time for the utilities and the pads. So right here is where we get into the infrastructure, and most investors get scared and quit. Somebody put developer in the chat. If I can become a real estate developer, so can you. If I can become a developer, so can you. If I can go from being homeless up under a bridge, so can you. In 2005, I was one of the poorest people I knew, being honest, okay? But then in 2025, 2026, it ain't the same person no more. Your girl done had a blow up, a come up. It took a lot of obedience, but a lot of investments. One investment that changed my life forever was the $5,000 I invested into my tax return. My tax return paid me $5,000, and I could have used that money to go pay all type of bills, but I did not. I used that money to go and buy a property. I did not know I could buy a property at $5,000, but I also didn't care. I was going to find one. And I did. And so because I made that one investment, I changed the trajectory of my entire life. So I went from payday loan companies to being in debt to having a horrible credit score to one of the youngest female real estate developers in the state of Louisiana. What? Somebody put wild in the chat. That is wild. But I didn't get frustrated. I didn't get scared. For some reason, God made me street strong. For some reason, God made me book smart. For some reason, God has equipped me to be able to handle a lot more pressure than what most could handle. So because of that, the infrastructure in the development never fazed me. I just rolled up my sleeves and I fought through it. Some of you get punched in the face and you're like, oh my God, I hate this and I have to leave, right? No, stay in the fight. Those who stay in the fight win. Josh, who's in my inner circle, shout out to Josh. Inner circle, drop some red circles in his heart, in this chat. Protégé, drop some fire in this chat. That's my people, my communities, right? Let me say this real quick. So Joshua, I had a conversation with Joshua, and he had just did a deal on a metal building that we was walking him through. And the city came back and told him, hey, you can't open up a welding shop there. And he like, what? Like, this is industrial. How does that even make sense? They even got a manufacturer across the street that does manufacturing. So I'm not really understanding this, right? So he ends up calling me, and his wife is so discouraged. She's crying. I'm like, hey, okay, you made a bad decision. You didn't check with zoning before you got the building. That's okay. How can we fix this? Let's see if we can talk to the seller, get the money back, and or see if the seller have a way that he'll be able to help us. You see, when you stop fighting in real estate, the fight stops. If you keep fighting in real estate, game on. Somebody gonna win, and it's gonna be me. I don't care what I got going on. Somebody gotta win, and I'm not going down without. I'm telling you, kicking, screaming, pulling hair, earrings, shirt, pants, shoes. Your girl gonna go all in. I'm going all in. We're going to fight. We're going to fight to the end. I win. I win. I was built to win. Ever since I was 5 years old, I have been built to win. So if the enemy couldn't take me out at 5 years old, he sure can't take me out now. You understand what I'm saying? So I told her that, and obviously, mindset shift. Somebody put mindset in the chat. Her mindset changed. Husband Josh ended up calling the seller. The seller said, wait, that don't make sense. I used to be over planning and zoning, so I'm going to go ahead and make a phone call. If he would have rolled up his sleeves and quit, the seller would have never made a phone call. But because he didn't roll up his sleeves, because he rolled up his sleeves, he was able to see the fight through the end. And guess who won? Josh. Guess who's undefeated? Josh. Guess who learned a new lesson? Josh and Tracy. Right? So it's on you how you allow this to mess with you. But I'm telling you now that don't allow infrastructure to scare you. You can be a developer. If I can do it, you can do it, okay? So let's talk about these utilities that you got to install. So utilities, right? So it's going to be whenever you're looking at the mobile home park as a whole, you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, city versus well. Do I want to have well water or do I want to have city water? Okay. Sewer. Do I want to have city sewer or do I want to have septic? Electric. Do I want to do I install the electrical pole? Like what takes place here, right? And then gas, which is optional. I don't know mobile home parks that got gas, maybe the really fancy ones that I've never been to, but I'm sure you can add gas, right? So I just added it as optional. But your water, sewer, and electricity is your three components for getting your infrastructure started. So knowing that the water, sewer, and electric is your three components, you're going to have to make a decision, right? And so like, for instance, a lot of our mobile home parks are on septic. I don't want the city because the city is going to make me put in what's called a lift station. I don't want to put in a lift station. They're $100,000 and up. No, thank you. So I'd rather spend $2,500 on a septic system and have each trailer with their own septic, right? The city water versus well. Well, if the city line's already tied through there, I typically go with the city because it's a lot cheaper and I can just tie in and it's all connected. And then, of course, you have your electrician to come out and install the electrical pole so you'll be able to run power through the trailer. If this is good, put good in the chat right now. I see Inner Circle and Protégé in here like crazy. I love it. That's what I'm saying. You get coached and mentored by me, and then you still show up to all my stuff that I'm giving out free game, and you still learning. That's the ones that get ahead. The ones that say, I'm going to show up every single day. I'm going to invest in my education. How many of you are investing in your real estate education? Put me in the chat right now. I just want to know who I'm talking to. Like, you understand that you either can pay for this in college or you can pay for it here, but either way, you're going to pay for it because information is not free. I think people lied to you when they told you that. Because if you compare the information that you got in school compared to what you're doing right now, would you consider that really valuable information? Has it really changed your life knowing your ABCs? I mean, it probably gave you your speech, but let's just be honest. The most we probably use since we've been out of school is algebra. I still haven't, I mean, other than social studies and knowing history, I'm still trying to put together what school taught me, to be honest. Because what I'm doing now, I did not learn in school. School did not teach me how to be a millionaire. It taught me how to be a well-paid employee. And what happens is when you have an employee teaching you, you're going to get employee teaching. When you have a developer teaching you, you're going to get developer teaching. So you got to be careful who you allow to teach you because you're going to end up with employee teaching. You're going to have a minimum wage work ethic. How you feel about that? All right, so utilities is one of the first things we do during our infrastructure, right? Then we have our dirt pad. Now, what's amazing about the dirt pad / lot is that you can do a plain dirt pad, or you can do, you see these concrete runners where it says foundation? If you ever wanted to sell a trailer on the market, FHA, VA, RD, you have to have 52 tie downs, okay? And those 52 tie downs go on those concrete runners. So you have to have these concrete runners and 52 tie downs. We call that a retrofit foundation. Somebody put retrofit foundation. So you can choose to do the concrete runners and do a retrofit foundation, which is way more expensive than just doing the dirt pad. But the dirt pad is where you're going to probably save the most cost because you don't have to pour concrete. Now, with trailers, most banks want them demobilized. What does demobilize mean? That means they want you to take the wheels off the trailer so it can now become attached to the property. So now they can finance the trailer and the land. But if you do not demobilize it and take the wheels off the trailer and put the 52 tie downs into it, they will not consider it as a traditional sale. They would treat it as a car. Because if you have wheels on it, you can still roll that sucker on off. Okay. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your mobile home community, thinking in the future, if you want to sell off a trailer here and there, you might want to do the retrofit in the beginning. If you're not going to sell off anything and you're going to keep everything, you might just do the dirt pad, right? So the tie downs is those metal straps that you see coming off of the trailers, right? If you ever looked up under a trailer, you'll see everything up under. I call it the belly of the trailer. You can see everything inside the belly of a trailer, right? Well, the tie downs is what fixes it to the property. That's what makes it become a fixed asset on the property, okay? Then you add your skirting. Some of you in your community, you may want fancy skirting, and you definitely can incorporate that. If you're developing the park yourself and putting the trailers in there, you can for sure do all of your skirting the same, and then your utility hookups as well goes through your dirt pad. So all of that is a part of it. And so your dirt pad is a lot. Each dirt pad, imagine each dirt pad is rent. Each dirt pad is rent. I need you to let that soak in, okay? How many dirt pads do you want? Put it in the chat right now. How many would you like? How many dirt pads would you like? 50, 20, 30, 10, 100, 5? What's your number? Can we start dreaming? Can we start believing? You sitting here at a mobile home development class where I'm teaching you guys how to become developers. You got to have a number. How many of those dirt pads do you want? As much as I want, it's not a response. How many dirt pads do you want? Like, said with authority. I want a 100-unit mobile home community. I want to develop a 50-unit mobile home community. I want to develop a 20-unit mobile home community. Say it with authority. What do you want? Like on a notebook, what do you want? So let's look at this. Can I make it look real for y'all? Can I put this into perspective for you guys? Put yes in the chat. Can I put this into perspective for you guys? This is where it gets good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Them pads equals cash flow, baby. I told y'all this was a cash cow. Every last one of those little rectangles you see right there is a piece of income. I wonder how many of these lots it would take to make up your income. Have you ever thought about replacing your income? Have you ever thought about buying income? You see, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've noticed the people that buys the most income has the most income. We just have not been taught how to buy income. So because we have not been taught how to buy income, we don't buy income. We are rich people, assets, and we're a liability on our own column. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. So if you're paying rent right now and you saying you can't afford a mortgage, you're lying. You can afford a mortgage because you're paying that landlord's mortgage. So when I look at all of these lots and I say, whoa, wow, each one of these, if this is, $400 per pad, per lot, let's just say 20. I'm gonna do an easy number of 20 pads. That's $400 a month. All you got to do is find 2 acres of land to put out 20 pads. Oh, I know this is good for y'all. You just need 2 acres, depending on, your city, lot size requirements. You only need 2 acres, 2 to 3 acres max, I guarantee. I know for a fact you can put 7 to 10 trailers on single wides on an acre, depending on the lot size, okay? In New Orleans, We fit anything on those lots. When I tell you the lots are tiny, I'm talking like 20 by 40. Okay. We created what's called a camelback house. The house got a hump in the back. Okay. So when I look at this and I say, oh wow, $8,000 a month. What if I don't own any of the trailers? And this is what this example is. This is if you own 0 of the trailers. This is you just owning dirt. Do you understand you don't get no phone calls? Unless there's something wrong with the sewage or something wrong with the electrical pole, you get no phone calls. You have no maintenance requests. You don't got to talk to tenants all day, every day. Wouldn't it be great if your tenant moved their trailer on there and the average stay, do you know what the average stay of a trailer is once they move it onto a property? Do you know? Are y'all ready for this? Guess in the chat. What do you think the average stay is? What is the average stay? 20 years. So you mean to tell me the average stay for a mobile home in a community is 20 years? So you mean to tell me I just bought income that pays me for 20 years? Oh, I'm talking generational. I don't know who told y'all need to be saving for 6 months in a rainy day. I don't plan for rainy days. First of all, I don't like a rainy day. I don't even like the cold day today, okay? So I don't plan for those days, but I do plan for a generation. So I think COVID taught us one stream of income is pretty much close to having none. I think COVID also taught us that you need additional income. You have to buy income. So when I look at this trailer park right here, this is a little image I found off of Google, all right? When I look at this and I count this, it's roughly about 100 lots. 100 lots times 400, I think that's what, 40 grand a month? Some of you, that's your salary. Some of you thinking this is impossible for me to do, but it's not. It's not, I promise you it's not. In 2026, somebody put buy income. In 2026, buy income. I'm buying income. That is your goal. That is your commitment. I am going to buy income in 2026. 2025 would be the last year I do not invest in income. I can invest in Netflix. I can invest in HBO Max. I can invest in gym memberships. I can invest in everything except income. No, this will be the last year that I do not own income. In 2026, I will buy income. Say it with authority and say it with your full chest. If this is good, put good in the chat. Told y'all, this is our learning lab. I hope you guys are enjoying this because I love being able to pour into you guys like this. So let's get into the math of this, right? So whenever we're looking at any type of multifamily deal or mobile home community, it doesn't matter, right? You can use this formula for any type of real estate investment when you're looking to see what the numbers are, right? So here we're going to find our EGI, our NOI, and our cap rate, okay? And so the GPI is what the internet promises you. That's what I'll say, right? That is your gross potential income. Now, the GPI can be very tricky because they'll dangle that carrot in front of your face and show you what the potential is inside of the park, but it has not made it there yet. So that's going to be the number of pads or lots times the monthly rent, which is 400 times 12 months, right? So what I'm looking for is my EGI, the effective gross income. What the property actually collects is what the EGI is in the simplest terms. And in order for me to get the GPI, I have to be able to assume what my vacancy loss would be to be able to effectively say that this is going to be the effective gross income. Now, gross potential income, it's razzle dazzle, but the EGI is what tells the story. Somebody put EGI in the chat. EGI, okay? So let's break this down. So when you see the number 1, it accounts for 100% of potential income, okay? And vacancy is written as a decimal, not as a percentage. Now, we use decimals because formulas don't work well with percentages. If you Derek, you probably can make them work. Me, I'm going to give it to you raw, right? So what does this look like, right? So my vacancy rate, if I said I would assume 10% vacancy, I'm going to use that number to be able to get to my EGI. All right. So I'm going to look at the gross potential income, which is the number of pads times the monthly lot rent times 12. And then I'm going to look at the GPI. Once I get that number, I'm going to minus the vacancy, which I'm going to assume at 10%. And I'll show you guys that on the next slide. And once I assume that, I'm going to get what my effective gross income is going to be for this 20 unit mobile home park that I would like to develop and are buying, right? You can use either or interchangeably, right? And then I'm gonna be able to determine if this asset makes sense. Now, I don't want to lose you guys in the math, okay? Because I know like you seeing decimals, you seeing vacancy rate, lot rents, and things like that. Take a screenshot of this stuff and study it, okay? Because it's extremely important that as a real estate investor, which you guys are, somebody put investor in the chat, I'm an investor. As a real estate investor, you need to understand how to work these formulas, okay? So let's do the property assumptions, okay? So let's say we have 20 pads. The lot rent is $400 a month. I'm assuming a 10% vacancy, and the opposite from vacancy is the occupancy. So assuming 90% occupied, okay? This would be a really great assumption for a pre-existing mobile home park community, okay? So if the occupancy is 90%, the vacancy is 10%, the lot rent is 400, the pads are 20. There's 20 lots total. Let's keep going. Step 1, gross potential income. Let's figure it out. So 20 pads times 400. You remember how I said it is the pads times the monthly rent. That's $8,000 a month. The pads times rent times 12. So $8,000 a month times 12, because there's 12 months in a year, there's $96,000 a year. That is your GPI. That is that ooh-wee number that they like to throw in front of you. That is not your effective gross income. That's not what you have. That is what this asset can do. It's a big difference, okay? This is what the asset can do. It does not mean it's doing that, because if you don't take your vacancy into consideration, your numbers will be upside down. And if you do not take your vacancy if you do not account for your vacancy and you go to the bank will not take you serious. The bank will not take you serious. So then I go to step 2. Are y'all good? Put yes in the chat. Are y'all good? All right. Let's convert this vacancy to the 100% formula, right? So if we know 1 equals 100% and we're not using percentages, we're going to go ahead and translate that. We're going to do 10%, and our 10% is going to be translated into a decimal of 0.10. Okay, that is our vacancy rate, 10%. So 10% and our 0.10, but we're going to use 0.10 for calculator purposes. Then our occupied rate is the opposite of what is left from the 100. So what is left from 1? So what I will put in the calculator is 1 minus 0.10, which is 100% minus 10% is 90% occupancy. You see how that makes sense? So don't let the 1 confuse you. The 1 just equals 100%. And the reason why I put that 1 there was so you guys could understand that, but for you to be able to run the numbers so you'll be able to get actual numbers and not have to bag into it and do all this other stuff. All right, good. Y'all following? Perfect. Step 3, because we got to get to the EGI. Okay. That 96,000 is our GPI. Don't forget that. That's that ooh-wee, right? So our GPI times our 90% occupancy, not vacancy, occupancy. So times 90%, which is 0.90, don't put 90% in calculator, put 0.90, it equals my EGI. Now, my EGI is what I've been looking to get to. So my effective gross income is $86,400. $86,400 is my EGI. Okay. So 86,400, keep going. All right. Make sure y'all good. Now I need to account for operating expenses. So I'm going to assume operating expenses are 35%, and that's being conservative, okay? So I take my EGI, which is 86,400, I multiply by 35%, but we don't use percent, so we're going to do 0.35. I have $30,240 of operating expenses on this property. Now, I think that's pretty important when I'm running my numbers and doing my underwriting, because I don't want to just assume the full 86,400 is just profit. So because I don't want to assume that, I'm going to make sure that I take out my operating expenses. But let me show you where the value creation comes, and then I'm going to show you the expenses of the mobile home park. It's going to get juicy. Stay with me. And I got a treat for you guys at the end. Somebody say I'm here. Put I'm here in the chat. So now what I'm about to do is I have my operating expenses. I'm about to assume my cap rate. And I think that this is very important for you guys, because in order for you to be able to say, yes, I want to invest into this or not, and make sure all the numbers work, you got to assume what a good cap rate would be. So I went with 8% cap rate. That's an assumption, okay? So I'm going to get the value by taking my NOI, which is my net operating income, and dividing it by my cap rate. Okay. So my NOI, did I miss the slide? Let me go back. Okay. No. All right. So my NOI divided by my cap rate. Now, what is that? My NOI is going to be the number I got, that 86 right here. If I go back, that 86,000 minus the 30,000, that's where the 56 come from. That is my net operating income, okay? So my net operating income is $56,160. So if my NOI is $56,160, I've taken out the operating expenses. This does not consider debt. Still, it does not consider debt. Let's just say $56,160 divided by 0.08, because we use decimals and not percentages, okay? So 8% cap rate. Once you take that number and put it into the calculator, those 20 lots that you have is valued at $702,000 at an 8% cap rate. $702,000. Somebody say buy income in the chat. This is juicy. This is good. Oh, somebody asked a very important question, right? They said, what is cap rate? Which is really a great question. So let me see. Where's all my slides? Oh, I must have exited out of it. So let's assume, right, a cap rate. When you have a high cap rate, right? When you have a high cap rate, you have higher income, but higher risk, okay? If you have a lower cap rate, you're going to have a lower income and a stable risk. It's not high risk, right? So some investors like me and Derek, we like high cap rates. One, we buy value add properties. So those properties we're going in, they probably need a lot of CapEx. So because we know that our cap rate is going to be on the higher end, but when we go to sell it, we're going to stabilize the asset. Once we stabilize the asset, now we're selling at a lower cap rate. So sellers sell at a lower cap rate. Buyers buy at a higher cap rate, right? If you're a buyer that like high risk, you're probably going to be looking somewhere at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% cap rate. That might be something good for you. If you are a nerve-wracking and you always nervous about losing money, you probably want to buy at a 4% cap rate, 5% cap rate. Just know you better not put no debt on that sucker because you're going to be upside down. Okay. Because the seller stabilization rate is not your stabilization rate. So you got to make sure that if you're going to buy with a lower cap rate, right? I typically don't like to go under 7%. 7% is like my rock bottom. Wouldn't you say, D? That's our rock bottom, like 7? Yeah, 7% is like for us, like our rock bottom, right? So I typically like to stay around over 8% is sweet. When we get to 9 and 10%, 11%, I start getting excited because I get that it's a huge risk that I'm taking buying a property that's not fully occupied, buying a property that needs a lot of capex. But I also know that there's a great reward if I keep fighting all the way to the end. So knowing that is really, really good. Okay, let's keep going. So let's get into our hard costs, right? So whenever you're developing a mobile home park community, you're going to have what's called your hard cost, right? Your hard cost is the physical part of your, like the physical construction, right? So that's going to be the land acquisition. This covers purchasing the desired land, the site preparation, expenses for clearing the property, grading it, preparing it for the land, your infrastructure, right? Cost for roads, lighting, and essential services that needs to be installed. And then, of course, your utilities, which includes your water, your electricity, your sewage connection setup. But also, I wanted to add just a little bit more, right? Land acquisition, clearing and grading, your roads. So, like, if you're going to put roads, guess what? You get to name those roads in your community. Okay. So, all those roads you saw on the plat that had all those rectangles, you can literally put your children's name on there. That's how we was able to do our community and put our children's name on our street signs, right? Your water and sewer lines are part of your hard costs, your physical construction, your electrical, your gas lines, which are optional, your mobile home transport and setup. I wanted to add that in there. And then your tie down and skirting. All of that is hard costs for your development. Okay. If this is good, guys, I'm going to be hosting a 5-day training where I'm going to go even deeper. So if you're like, yo, T, I really want to learn more about real estate and you're enjoying this, come join me on my 5-day property challenge. It is really, really great. And then with my titanium members, we're going to have a private dinner where you guys are going to meet with me and all of my team of investors and all of my team of experts who specializes in accounting and all of these different things. And they're going to be able to answer all of your questions on the spot. So I would love for you guys to come down to Atlanta and hang out with us and have dinner and also network. Be in a room with people that's going where you want to go. How many of us need a change of scenery? Put me in the chat right now. Somebody put me in the chat. If you want to change of scenery and you say, hey, I need to be in that titanium room. I need to go have dinner with all of these 7, 8, 9-figure earners. Like, I'm telling you, put me in the chat. So let's break down what the hard cost is, right? So this is rough estimates, okay, based off of experience. You got dirt pads. Let's just say 20 pads cost you $2,000, so 40,000. You got the electrical hookups, which is roughly about 30. You got your water line tie-ins, which is about 30. You have your sewer connections, which is about 50. You have your driveway and your gravel, which is about 5,000. This is your skirting and your tie downs. Now, this is based off of not having to put a road in. Okay, this is just based off of you finding a piece of land that has public road access, and you can just put a gravel road down the middle. This is what this is based off of. So your hard cost would be 195,000. Okay. So 195,000 will be your hard cost. That means that the physical part of the actual construction is going to cost you about 195,000. But I want to break it even down because you also have what's called soft costs. Your soft cost is what takes place first before your hard cost. Your soft cost is what you do in the beginning, right? So that's all your legal fees, that's your engineering, your civil, that's them getting it ready to go to planning and zoning like we talked about early on, right? Then you got your permits, permitting costs, how much it costs for your permits, all of that stuff. All of this is your soft cost, your marketing. Then I broke it down even further just so you guys can get more of a detailed picture, right? So your civil engineer, your survey, your environmental study. This is where you do all of your research. We call this R&D. During this process and during this time is where you do all of your R&D. So the civil engineers, your survey, your environmental study, the city permits, okay, your plan review fees, your stamp drawings, your insurance during construction, Okay, all of this, you got to get insurance before you start in construction. Don't get insurance after you start, get it before. And then, of course, your contingency, which is 5 to 10%. I typically go with 10%. But don't ever underestimate your soft costs, because your soft costs can cause quite a bit of money, right? Let's take a look at it. So your soft cost is going to be your professional and legal. Your hard cost is physical. Your soft cost is professional and legal, right? So your survey, your site plans, let's say 3,000. Your permits and fees, 2,500. Your engineering civil, 4,000, because it's a small piece of land, 20 lots. It's not that much. Your utility impact is 2,500, and then your contingency of the total, so of your hard and your soft cost, 10% of that is $33,150. Well, 10% is $21,150, which comes to a total of $33,150. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, what does that mean for a developer? Because this sounds like a lot of money, Coach C. It's really not. It's really not. Okay, let me break this down. Soft cost is $33,150. Hard cost is $195. So you have $228,150 in total investment. How much did we say this was valued for? How much did we say it was worth? Somebody put it in the chat. It's sitting in your face. What is the value on this? After we finished all of our EGIs, after we finished our GPIs, after we finished our cap rate, our NOIs, what is the value of the property? $702,000. So this seemed like a really great deal, right? Put yes in the chat. Perfect. Total investment for your hard and soft costs. So if you take the $702,000, which is valued at, deduct the hard and soft costs from it, you're going to come up with a number of $473,850. Okay. Now, this is equity that is unrealized. The reason why it's unrealized is because equity does not become realized until you sell it, until you do a transaction with the bank. Okay. So $473,850 in equity that you've put into this property. You didn't just build, okay? You constructed. This is where developers make their money, because when you go and you prove the concept, it is very rewarding, but it's also very high risk, okay? So you may say, man, I just don't have the money. Like, I don't have $228,150. That's okay. Let me show you how you can get that, okay? The bank could give you 80% to borrow. You got to come up with the 20. So let's just round this 94,000 to 100,000, okay? If it is 100,000, all you need is five people to come in at $20,000 each. I would start an entity and I would do what's called a GPLP, which I'm going to talk more about on my 5-day property challenge. And I'm going to share with you guys what that 5-day property challenge is. But I would create what we're going to teach you at the 5-day property challenge, which is a GPLP situation. And in that situation, we're going to show you as a general partner how you get paid and how you can offer pay to your limited partners. So imagine you say, I don't know nobody with $20,000. It's because you're in the wrong room. I told you the worst place you can be is in the exact same place you are right now. For that reason alone, if you do not know 5 people with $20,000, somebody say get in the room. Somebody say get in the room. If you don't know those type of people, you need to be in the type of rooms that I'm in. Come to my playground. I'm telling you now, for kids to come and play on my playground, you got to have some tokens. You got to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to buy income. You're so scared about buying income, but you don't question all of the other liabilities that you buy and that you spend every single month. What happens is we're so triggered to spend that when it comes to investing, we start second guessing. But the problem with investing is it don't care if you invest or not. People are going to invest, and there's going to be the haves and the have-nots. And the have-nots are the ones who are remaining in the exact same place that they've always been in. And they cry about not having a chance and opportunity. But this is your chance to get in the room. This is your chance to have conversations with people that's talking about buying income. This is your chance to be able to create generational wealth. This is your chance to be able to spend 5 days with me and my team and come meet me and my team personally and let us talk in person about what it is you want to do. Share with me your dreams. Share with me your thoughts. Share with me your ideas. I may have an answer for you. I went from having to go and find all of the answers to becoming an answer. This is your year where you're going to become an answer. Okay, you are going to become an answer. People are going to come to you because you have the answer. People are going to trust you because you have the answer. The reason why you guys are on here now is because I have the answer. I can teach you how to develop real estate. Why? Because I've done it. I'm not showing you guys anything that I haven't done. If I'm a developer in real life, why wouldn't I be able to share this with you? But I guarantee you, half of you are going to get off this call and do nothing with this information. The other half is the brave ones. Those are the ones that's going to meet me in person. And I can't wait to meet you. Just saying. So let's talk about what your team look like, right? What does your team like? Well, first of all, you need to put your picture right there. You, the developer, the decision maker, the one that controls the vision, the numbers, and the execution timeline. You are a developer. Say it with your chest right now. You don't have to go to college to become a developer. You don't need a real estate license to become a developer. You just need to go and be coached and mentored by a developer to become a developer. I never went to development school. I don't even know what they do in that classroom. I would be lying if I told you I did. But I'm a real estate developer. Stop asking for permission for your inheritance. This was stolen from you. Your birthright was stolen from you. All you're doing is going to claim back what the enemy taken from you. Stop asking for permission for everything. This is your season to be unapologetic about who God has called you to be. So then you need your real estate attorney, your site workers, civil engineer, landscaper, project manager. You need all of this. You need a mobile home company that's going to be able to sell you mobile homes at a bulk rate, right? You need all of that. Those are the different type of connections you want to have. You get those type of connections by being in rooms like this, by showing up tonight. I guarantee you, how many of you learned something so far tonight? Put me in the chat. You can do this right now. I've shown you how to go acquire the land, where to look for it at, all of this. It's really good. So let's keep going about that development timeline, right? So phase one is going to be the acquisition of the land and the initial project, the soft costs, right? That's your soft costs. Phase two is the development of the essential infrastructure and utilities, right? This is your hard costs. Construction and installation of mobile home secure. This is also hard costs. And then you got your marketing efforts and your leasing processes that are initiated. That right there is your soft costs. So it takes 3 to 6 months, right? It's a 3 to 6 month process. It may take longer on the location and the type of land you purchase. So again, don't buy land that's not close by utilities. Don't buy land that's so rural that you got to bring in all of the infrastructure. It just becomes extremely expensive, right? Put sewer plants. I mean, not sewer plant. Put septic tanks versus city sewer. Like all of that can be very costly if you don't do it right. Right. The biggest thing I would tell you is if you're going to want to do a mobile home park development or any development, I would hire a coach, whether it's me and or someone else that you feel connected to, that you feel led to. You need a coach. You need somebody to watch your blind spots. You need somebody you can ask questions to. You need somebody who can help you, right? Like you need somebody who can say, hey, do this, right? Having the right coach could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're a coach in real life, not just on the internet, right? But again, I had a coach. I didn't just go become a developer. I had a coach. The lady who taught me about putting children names on street signs, right? Like she let me partner in with them. And then I was able to oversee one. And then I was able to go do one on my own. Like all of this is so good, right? Like it is so amazing the things that you can do when you get in the right room with people. So why would you invest in a mobile home park? I'm so happy you guys asked, right? It's reliable rental income. I said the average tenant stays there 20 years. How many of you would like a 20-year tenant? Put me in the chat right now. I'm just going to raise my hand for me, okay? Because I can't type in the chat. But I would love a 20-year tenant. Oh, I have some. Yeah. How amazing is that? God is good. 20 years. That's an average. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Do you know, this is just a little caveat. Do you know Walmart signed 100-year leases? Can you imagine having a piece of land that Walmart want to come build? They build their own Walmart. You don't even have to build it. Walmart comes in and for your land, they'll do a 100-year lease. I don't know if you know that, but it'll still be going on when you're not here. 100-year lease. Y'all, people are making decisions. People are making money in real estate, and you're still standing on the sideline. Real estate is a context sport. It's time for you to get inside the game, right? Long-term tenants, low vacancy rate. Ain't nobody leaving their trailer. Nobody leaving their trailer, okay? It's just what it is. They're cash cows. Bro, they are cash cows, okay? You create and develop the right one, the right community. You watch how it pays you over and over and over again. And it's easy to scale. I'm telling you, you can do it in your state if you're in a rural area and you know that there's a housing need and it's not affordable, you can do it yourself. It's affordable housing options, right? It helps grow the population and it increase interest in mobile living, right? Like some people, all they can afford is a mobile home rent. And that's okay. That's okay. We are here to provide, right? Like this land, when you become a developer, you're not just being like a developer in the land, if that makes sense, right? Like you have to understand that you are the answer. You are becoming the answer by sitting in this class. You are becoming an answer by getting coached and being mentored. You are becoming an answer for a need in your community. It blesses me to be able to help people. So you don't need like another coaching. Like you need to get started, right? Repetition, structure, and mentorship. That's what you need. Repetition, structure, and mentorship. What we did today is give you awareness. We're making you aware of what's possible. How many of you know that you can do this, right? Yes, absolutely. You can do it. You can have Section 8 tenants in here. You can have no Section 8. You can do a 55 and older community only. There's so many things you can do when you are the developer, right? Like so many things you can do. Let's keep going. All right. So where does investors find these type of mobile homes? Where do they find these deals, y'all? Okay. They find them in existing mobile homes that are abandoned, mobile home parks that are abandoned, right? There's so many mobile home parks around us that's abandoned. We're always looking to find the owners. Facebook Marketplace and local groups, bankruptcy and civil sales. There's a sheriff sale every single month in your community. And I will call the codes office. Hey, do you have any mobile home parks that's in violation? Every year we have to renew our mobile home park license. This year, I think we got 14 violations that we have to get completed in 30 days. We don't own the trailers. So the tenants have to get it done and or they get evicted. And then if they get evicted out of the trailer, they have 30 days to move the trailer off of our property. If they don't move the trailer off of our property in 30 days, it becomes an abandonment. Once they abandon the trailer, we go to the DMV and apply for what's called a lost title, which is an abandonment title. We take that title and now we're able to fix that trailer back up and rent it out to someone else, even though we never owned the trailer. But that's another thing that's in your mobile home lease agreements. Again, that's things we're going to be talking about on the 5-day property challenge. Somebody put 5 days in the chat. 5 days in the chat. So imagine right now, this is your 90 days. It starts right now. In 90 days from now, you have clarity, you have accountability, you have direction, you have community, you have ownership. Imagine the 90-day you now. What does that look like? What does that 90-day you look like? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because a lot of you, you're in the middle of a construction zone, right? you're in the middle of a construction zone where it's exhausting. Press play. It becomes extremely exhausting in your construction zone when you don't have focus, when you don't know how to restore. Can you press play for me, please? Right? So whenever it's not aligned, right? Execution, you elevate, okay? So what happens with this construction zone is I like to call me being homeless up under a bridge my construction zone. Me being homeless up under that bridge was my construction zone. It's where God met me. He didn't meet me at a church. He didn't meet me at a steeple. He didn't meet me at a pier, whatever. He met me up under that bridge. And up under that bridge was where my construction zone started. And today is where your construction zone started. You don't need 100 doors. You can get 5 mobile homes and outperform a 10 to 15 unit apartment complex. I'm not saying you don't get apartment complexes, but I'm telling you, mobile home parks can easily outperform multifamily. I'll argue with anybody. Every year, you got to renew a lease with your tenant for multifamily. You have a 20-year tenant with manufactured mobile homes. You see the difference already? And so you got to ask yourself, am I ready to enter the construction zone of my life? This is where the fixing of me come from. This is where the fixing of Tara Lynn Smith started. It started when I got focused. I had to focus on what it was I wanted. I had to be intentional with who I had around me. I could not hang out with the same people that I was hanging out with because I was doing what they were doing. And I understood we all had the same acts. What I understood was that we was not holding each other down. We was holding each other back. So some of you think you're holding people down, but you're really holding them back because you think you can go borrow from them and you can call them and then they can borrow from you. But that is not the way it needs to go. You should have income. You should always be buying income. At the construction zone, I had to restore myself. I had to forgive myself for all the ugly that happened to me. I had to get my mindset right. I had to get that clarity of what it was I wanted in life. I had to break free from the generational curses that was holding me back in life. I had to be able to start restoring who Tara Lynn Smith was. I had to find who Tara Lynn Smith was. You cannot identify what you do not know. Once I found out who I was unstoppable. Once I found out who I was, I stopped asking for permission to sit at a table. Once I found out who I was, I became unstoppable. I don't have to knock at nobody's door. I built my own doors. I got doors for generation because I stopped and focused on who I was. And then I align myself with some beast in the industry. I'm talking about people that eat bricks in real life. I'm talking about people that is unapologetic about their success. I'm talking about people where their success make you uncomfortable. I'm talking about people who speak loudly about where it is they come from and where it is they headed at right now. There's an alignment that got to take place. You can't be aligned with me and still be living in poverty. It won't work. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. So when you come in alignment with me, if you say, yo, I want you to be my coach, I want to work with you and your team, I want that type of mentorship, I want to be in a 5-day property challenge, you're going to become uncomfortable with the things that have to die off of you because it can't live around me. And once I understand that, I take the execution and now I'm going to execute at a very high level. I'm going to elevate my status. Right now, I may be a launcher where I own 0 to 4 doors. Right? My launchers. I may be a builder, okay, where I own 5 to 20 doors, or I may be a titan where I own 20 plus doors, but I'm at a place now where I'm ready to elevate. I'm at a place now where I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm at a place now where I can't be the same Tara Lynn Smith. If I'm going to have $100 million a year company, I got to hang out with people that's doing 9 and 10 figures a year unapologetically. No offense to the people on the same level that I'm at. They're still my friends, but I told my business partner, hey, we're leaving. We're going to a new playground. The moment I said that, the conversation started changing. 4,000 units is the goal for Q1. That's a very tenacious goal. That's a very aggressive goal. Somebody asked me, you don't want to scale that back? I said, nah. I'm going to eat these bricks. And whether I hit 4,000 or not, that's my goal. Why would I take it back? The moment I take it back, I start being fearful of who I am made after. What? That's almost like the giant tormenting me for 40 days. No. Because then I'm gonna tell myself, dang, why you being a fraud to yourself? No, I want to challenge myself. I need to be uncomfortable in this season. You see, I'm telling you something. There was something that shifted last Monday with me that has not made me the same. Something shifted. You thought I was you thought I was unstoppable before this. I'm telling you, something shook in the inside of me. I can't unsee it. I can't stop it from replaying. But what I will tell you is that it won't slow me down. I'm going to knock these walls down. Some of you got to knock these walls down. Some of you have to say, you know what? I can't remain here. So I want for you guys to let me and my team work for you.